Good afternoon. I am Dr. Nisinga Burton, and I am founder and editor in chief of the Burton Wire. Today, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the Burton Wire. We actually have 24 subscribers. That is the Burton Wire News on Substack. Now, what's interesting is that we have 4,000 subscribers on the free version of the Burton Wire, and we have 24 subscribers total on the new version, and 12 of those are paid. So I want to impart to you the importance of supporting Black media. There's a lot of discussion online about Black media. Black media. We need to support Black media. The media doesn't cover this. The media doesn't cover that. Oh, they do a terrible job of such and such. Why haven't I seen this story? Where is this story? Where is this? Where is that? And then when it comes time to actually support Black media in a way that will help keep us in business, sometimes it doesn't bear out in terms of what people say and what they really are willing to do in order to have a voice and a representation in this media landscape. So I am thankful and grateful for everyone who has subscribed. We actually have a free subscription too. So, they're not all just paid subscriptions, but we would love it if you would consider subscribing to the Burton Wire. Stories that you may have missed include an article on mental health challenges in our society and why we need to put more money into them instead of taking money out of them, which is what happened this year, right? So while we're all paying attention to nonsense and chaos and the zaniness of this 47 administration, real things are happening like the damn near elimination of resources for mental health patients, centers, entities, and such. Of course, we bring this up because of the high profile murders of Jubilant Sykes, world class opera singer and gospel singer, and of course the Reiners, Rob Reiner, who is iconic actor, super producer, activist. His wife Michelle Reiner, who is a phenomenal photographer in her own right, who were both murdered. All of them were murdered by their sons, at least allegedly, right? They've both been charged. Their sons have been charged in their murders, and both sons struggled with mental health issues and addiction. So, when we're thinking about these issues and how do we fix them, we have to think about what resources are available. And when resources have been cut to the extent that a lot of people no longer are able to get the support that they need, resources such as housing for people who are mentally ill. And so they end up at home with people who are not really equipped to take care of them and to meet their specific needs. In some cases, we don't really know what happened in either of these cases yet because those stories are still developing. But we do know, and many of us are dealing with people who have mental illness and really, really serious mental health issues in our lives. And so we need to have more resources, not less resources. We need to have more people, not less people. We need to have more funding, not less or fewer funding sources. We need to have more places where people can seek help and get the help that they need, not have fewer spaces, and certainly not to give billionaires tax breaks. That's just not an acceptable reason to be cutting these services. And for those of us who lived through the 80s and saw what cutting of these services does, i.e., increases homelessness, increases these type of family homicides, increases the amount of violence, and not violence per se, because most mentally ill people are not violent, but those who are prone to be violent, the stress of living in a society where they're feeling increasingly disenfranchised, disempowered, and they're unhoused will increase the likelihood of that violence being played out, whether it's in the family unit or outside of the family unit. And then, of course, also people who are mentally ill also very vulnerable to violence, right? Very vulnerable to being preyed upon. So we're doing some work on that, and really, telling you what is happening and why you're probably going to see an increase in the number of cases like these in the near future. And this is because of these major cuts that started in January, when many of our government agencies were decimated. You also may have missed the fact that the former NBA star, also he's a Tar Heel star, um, and actor and entrepreneur and proud Bahamian, Rick Fox, is running for office in his home country. Fox was born in Canada, to Bahamian parents and raised in Nassau, Bahamas. So he wants to make a difference, and he's been, involved in his community, in that community, for many years. But when Hurricane Dorian hit in 2019, that's when many people, including Bahamians who live here in the United States, mostly I would say Bahamians who live here in the United States, Caribbean folk who live in the United States, African American folk who live in the United States, really pooled resources in order to try to help restore some type of normalcy to the Bahamian culture, and I would say tourism industry. At any rate, as you all know, we, and I would say privileged people, like to visit these nations, but there are whole families, whole people, groups of people who live there, right? They build lives there, they raise children there, they get married there, they do all the things there. Um, in the places that we treat as our little hot spots to go and just like decompress. So they are living their lives and building their futures there. And Rick Fox wants to play a role in it. So we have that as well. And just lots of different types of information that you might find interesting that you're not going to find in mainstream news sources. We're not interested in competing with mainstream news sources. We don't have the resources that they have, but we do have a story to tell, right? We do have the idea of what's newsworthy. We do have an idea of what readers deserve to know, and that is everybody's stories, not just a few stories or celebrity stories or what have you. So I just encourage you all to consider subscribing to the Burton Wire News on the Substack, and um, keeping another Black media company in business. Thank you to all who have subscribed. We truly appreciate you, especially our paid subscribers. Our first paid subscriber was Miranda Acree Solomon of Charlotte Native Realty in Charlotte, North Carolina. Full disclosure, she's one of my best friends. But I always love when we support each other, and we do that. We've been doing that for 2 decades now, and we'll continue to do so until our time is up. But thank you, Miranda. There's a gift on the way for you. And we are just pleased as punch that you kicked it off, and very happy that we've had other subscribers, including the matriarch, Beverly Burton, who is the namesake, as well as my daddy, Earl Burton, the namesake, for this publication. So just really pleased and happy to have not only family members, but also friends and people that we don't know who've also subscribed. So if you've had the benefit of having the Burnt Wire for free for 14 years, then consider, re-upping on this platform and maybe getting a subscription. Subscriptions are $10 a month, or if you do it all at once, it's $100. So you save $20 if you do it that way. And of course, if you want to be a founding member, and all of the descriptions of what all of that means is on the website, is on the site, then that's $250. But I think that those who really are true, what I call TBWs, we'll see those memberships soon. So, at any rate, thank you to everyone who has subscribed. We are appreciative and grateful. And I just want to say, sometimes you got to put your money where your mouth is, particularly in this climate, and support Black media. And if you don't support me, that's cool. But think about Capital B, think about Blavity, think about other publications, Black publications, Ebony, Essence, and they are Black owned publications. But think about where you can subscribe. The Root is under Black leadership again, which is amazing and awesome. We're very excited about that. As a former Root editor at large, but make sure you support somebody, and put your coins there during the holiday season or after the holiday season, after your bank accounts recover. But anyway, I wish you a happy holiday season, and please continue to support the Burton Wire in any way, shape, or form that you can, so that we can keep telling our stories and our voices and center us in the narrative.